July isn't typically a big month for games, however, this July's got some pretty sweet ones. I'm Falcon, and today on gameranx, the top 5 new games of July 2017. Number 5 is Hey Pikmin, a 3DS game that is not exactly what you might be expecting from Pikmin. It's different in that it's a puzzle platformer. If we're going to compare to other Nintendo titles, Hey Pikmin is a lot like Kirby in some ways. You get different abilities with different Pikmin, and it's maybe what I would call a bit less stressful of a game than the console titles. But then again, that's just the demo that's been released. It may end up being a little bit more brain heavy further down the road. Now, it's not as if the strategy puzzle type stuff is just gone, it's just, well, this is a spin-off game. It's not Pikmin 4, which apparently is still in development, and instead of being a difficult strategy-oriented game, this one is more along the lines of a Nintendo family-friendly platforming affair, which isn't a bad thing because if anybody does that kind of a game right, it's Nintendo. I think playing the full game is probably going to yield a good experience. I love the demo, to be honest. Number 4 is Pyre, the newest game by Supergiant Games, the creators of both Bastion and Transistor. And if you want to know an indie developer that I think is reliably great, it's Supergiant Games. Transistor didn't quite have the heart of Bastion, but it was still a really good game. It took place in a very unique setting, it told a different story, and it showed that they're willing to take risks. That seems exactly like what Pyre is, albeit maybe in a world that's a little closer to Bastion than it is to Transistor, although it's more specifically a fantasy setting as opposed to a post-apocalyptic setting. The battle system is kind of arena-like. I mean, it retains a lot of elements of the Transistor battle system, however, it also has you controlling more than one character and with an actual goal of extinguishing the enemy's Pyre. It really looks like an interesting game, and I think it's gonna be great. Number 3 is Fortnite Paid Early Access, which is a really interesting idea. It's a lot like Minecraft combined with zombie survival, and in a lot of ways, I'm actually getting kind of like modern arena shooter vibes from it. However, I know structurally it's nothing like that, but it does give off Team Fortress vibes, so that's kind of the ancestor to most of the arena, hero, modern competitive shooter style. So that could be it. There's going to be an early access season that starts this month, which it will be paid, but once that season is over, the game is going to be totally free. And to be fully honest, this looks like one of those games that's probably going to be really, really big. I don't have a perfect way of explaining it, but I really have a feeling that people are going to love this, latch onto it, and everybody who didn't pay for the early access is probably going to be like, should I do this? Because it really looks like a fun game. To be frank, the fort building looks to be really, really good. And I love the art style. Between resource management, loot, crafting, and a pretty damn unique world. And frankly, you can build a damn castle. I mean, it looks so freaking cool. It really looks like a creative game that also manages to have a lot of good action mechanics, which is kinda rare. I'm excited for it. Number 2 is Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, which is a limited edition, collector's edition thing. I don't know if you've ever played Final Fantasy XII, but it's a really good game. And having a good HD remaster of it, that's also had a lot of balancing work done to its battle system. And there's gonna be some controversy over this, I think. They dumped the license board system in favor of a job system, which I think is a positive thing because it will allow you to create characters that end up more varied by the end of the game, and the license board system kind of ends up making everybody into the same thing. I mean, if you actually work on everybody, you don't have to, but if you fill up the board, the characters can be the same thing. That is not so in this version of the game, and I am looking forward very much so to giving this game the time that I think it deserved the first time around. I really ended up liking this game a long time after it came out. I had to give it a chance, and I've never actually gotten the entire way through it, so I think it's time. And finally, number 1 is Splatoon 2, which, as you know, Splatoon is pretty much a game that everybody wanted to play, but nobody had a Wii U. That has not been how the Switch has gone. The Switch has been a runaway hit, which means Splatoon 2 is going to be, well, for lack of a better term, totally occupied by people. And it will probably totally occupy people themselves. Now, the original Splatoon is a fantastic game, and they could have literally just re-released it on a console that people are actually buying, and that would be enough. But they've actually expanded upon the game, given it a lot more content, as well as new modes such as League Battle, which is a ranked battle, not just an individual player ranked battle, either a team ranked battle, and frankly, I'm pretty excited to be playing this with more people. A couple of bonus games for you, including Danganronpa Another Episode, Ultra Despair Girls, which I know some people are going to say, another episode? What is Danganronpa? I have not heard of this before. It's basically a third-person horror adventure. More adventure than horror, to be fair though. A Fable-oriented free-to-play collectible card game called Fabled Fortune. The game's being developed by members of Lionhead, even though that's not a studio anymore, that formed a studio called Flaming Fowl Studios, so it's not just some blind cash grab by some random studio executives. These are indie game developers who used to be the Fable team, and I think as such it's more than worthy of giving a shot. Collectible card games can be a hell of a lot of fun. Gwent, for instance, and Fable is a rich, humorous world that I love the hell out of. And finally, open world adventure game Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, which is a really stylish, beautiful game with a wonderful color palette. It's in a lot of ways like Zelda, except instead of saving the world from monsters, you save people from hunger and whatnot by fishing, farming, etc. The adventure element is obviously present, with a lot of exploration and some pretty heavy gameplay influences from Harvest Moon. What are you looking forward to most in July? Leave us a comment, and if you enjoyed this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.